competition at the Reebok CrossFit Games. It is Kudos Bank Arena, our new home of the Pacific Regional. Crowd starting to build here. To see individual females, my name's Jeremy Austin. Alongside me is Danae Brown. Lily Cosgrove will join us on the competition floor in just a little while. Our standings after 2 events for the women, fittest woman on earth. No surprises there to see her at the top of the leaderboard, battling it out with the second fittest woman on earth, Cara Saunders. But a couple of newcomers, Kat Baker, and also Alice Tucker rounding out that top 4, Jess Coughlin. Games competitor from last year in that top 5. Day 2 is a moving day. We're going to see some girls moving up. We're going to see some girls moving down. But minimising the damage is really important. Event number 3D.
It is 3 rounds of 9 muscle-ups and then a handstand walk on the obstacle course. The ladies will then move up into an ascending ladder in each round. The round will go into 36, 45, 54 pistol squats before they cross over back on the obstacle course.
Now, talking strategy through these events, the males hitting the floor a little bit earlier and some really struggling with some components. And Dean Linda Layton mentioning in his interview that breaking up the muscle-ups was going to be his jam because he could catch up some time on the handstand walk later on.
The reason why he would have done that, Jeremy, is because he would have been trying to save the fatigue from his triceps. You can see in the muscle-up, it's the top part of the dip. And so what he wants to do is just try and hold out his shoulders. As you can see, it requires so much strength and control to be able to cross over this purpose-built obstacle course.
This new obstacle course, something we haven't seen before at regional level. Programming getting that little bit harder each year. Would you have been happy to see this when you were competing? Actually, scrap that. I saw you try and do it yesterday. You wouldn't have been happy at all.
With that said, Jeremy, I feel comfortable upside down on my hands, but, when I had a go at this, I actually really struggled on it. I would have needed the whole 3 weeks to practice doing this particular event. So you need to be, if that's any indication, you need to be extremely proficient in handstand walking if you want to tackle this obstacle course.
Deanna Clegg tackling it very well, and now moving on to the first set of pistol squats. A number of ladies are really struggling already. We talk about position of bodies and moving a body through time and space. He's talked about tightness of bodies right throughout the male heats. Nothing changes here either.
No, it doesn't change here at all, Jeremy. Now, it's really important for the athletes. Now, I guess they're not doing a conventional handstand walk where they're keeping their bodies, where their toes are pointing straight up to the roof. It is really a case of adopting a technique that's going to work best for you. And with that said, what we're looking for is the girls having to arch their bodies over, or their legs slightly over the center of their body. The reason for this is because we want them to continue to move forward. Now, not only are we asking them to continue to move forward, but we're also asking them to walk up steps and then down a ramp. Can you imagine?
No. I can imagine it, yes.
Give me too many drinks and I'll struggle doing that just walking on my own legs.
Maybe better, yeah.
Now,
Chelsea Doherty smiling and talking to a judge. This is not her favourite event.
And I think, that is all the athletes can do when they come out here. I think it's really, really important for, people who this isn't probably an event that plays to their strength, is just to come out here, smile, appreciate the fact that they are here and they are amongst, company of, some of the fittest people in the Pacific region, and just, look around and have gratitude for, all the fans that have came and paid tribute to, watch these athletes perform over this weekend.
It's a bit like performing in the circus, walking upside down on your hands. As Evdalecki in the maroon and white just leaves the screen after finishing up that first round of the obstacle course. Our event record, Marissa De Los Santos from the South Regional in week 1, 8:32. Absolutely blistering pace. As Emma Wright continues on, she's from Thornton CrossFit in Wellington, New Zealand. Chelsea Doherty managing to get through the obstacle course okay and onto the pistol squats.
Yeah, you can see, Jeremy, she is adopting a technique of, having to hang on to her foot. I would say that would be simply due to her range of motion and not having that flexibility to drop down into the squat. You can see her heels slightly rising up the top. You know what I would have loved to have seen Chelsea do? I know she had struggled on the handstand walk, which is why she may have chose to go for the flat-soled shoe. But what I'd like to probably see from Chelsea is using a weightlifting shoe, just simply because the back of the heel is raised.
Chelsea Doherty getting through those, and Emma Wright is just about to overtake her. And a bit of a sway on Emma Wright's movement, but it is working for her. Her partner, Luke Fiso, doing very well in the men's competition. Ja Tiruwanistan was the cue you just heard. She just got through the first obstacle. She's down the bottom left in the black. Now she's got to attack the second. Ja from Thailand. Got that scorpion sort of movement, which we do see from time to time.
We do, Jeremy. I mean, it's not your traditional handstand hold or handstand walk, where the athletes would be more in upright position, as we see here on screen.
Evdalecki is a level 10 gymnast, so we expect nothing less from her.
That is of no surprise. So she'd have a very good awareness of, her body and how it moves.
Ja still battling away on obstacle number 2. But she's doing the smart thing and resting in between each attempt. Emma Wright still extending her lead over Evdalecki. Ev's just hiding behind that judge to the right of screen. But Emma will be about to finish off her second set of single leg squats, which she does so.
Yeah, I think it's really important in an event like this is to make sure that people don't get caught up in the moment, and they really almost put the blinkers on and stick to their own game plan. Ev looks wonderful in these pistol squats. As you can see, she has excellent range of motion and mobility. There is no problem with her flexibility, being able to balance pretty much the entire her entire weight of her body just on that one leg.
Now, Dee, we've got some breaking news here at the Pacific Regional. There has been an appeal in the men's competition. We are still waiting for more details on that, but there has been an appeal, so we're not sure who it involves or how it's going to shake up the leaderboard, so we can't give you any standings at present. So stay tuned for more info on that. More drama unfolding with the men, but Emma Wright extending her lead in heat number 1 of event number 3. And taking her time, this will be the third and final set of muscle ups. Normally with the muscle ups, years and years ago, this was a really, really tough movement. I'll go back, 2008, this was tough for me to do. But now it's just a staple movement.
Mr. Castro definitely likes to up the ante, doesn't he? He likes to keep us all on our toes, or shall I say hands, in this.
Touché. Oksana Zuzina from CrossFit CLV. battling away, but it is a struggle and a disappointment every time the attempt is failed. That's got to break you down every time, doesn't it?
It does. You know, I think both physically and mentally, you got to imagine that these athletes, even though, you know, there are several girls out on the floor, they would be feeling every time that they fail a repetition that the spotlight is on them, even though that isn't the case, but that's how they probably would be feeling mentally.
Emma Wright finishing off a last set of muscle-ups, all done and dusted. And that shoulder fatigue for Emma Wright not proving to be an issue as she comes over the first of two obstacles on the third and final set.
Yeah, she looks really strong, Jeremy, and I think that's because she's chosen a really smart strategy that is working for her. As you can see, you know, at the start of the event, she's chosen to break down the muscle-ups. She could probably get more repetitions out than she has been doing for this event. However, what she's choosing to do is just save her shoulders so that she can complete the obstacle course.
Her partner Luke Fiso getting the jump her on this one. 10-12 was his time for the men, but this is still going to be a very good, respectable time. Oksana Zuzina getting a start on those pistols, and Jar Tiruwenasan doing exactly the same as Evdalicki. Currently in second place and managing to hold those legs together. Ansem walking. A fairly easy feat if you haven't got a whole day of fatigue under the belt from yesterday. So Jar Tiruwenasan to the left of screen, Oksana Zuzina to the right of screen, and Evdalicki in the maroon and white at the back, kicking up into handstand. Evdalicki in second position and reversing a little. We'll have another attempt at it. Actually, we're going to have a third. No, we're not. So for an elite gymnast, if this is difficult, this is going to be difficult for a lot of people. Trying to shake out those arms. Evdalicki going team last year at the Pacific Regional with her team at Creature. Deciding to go individual this year. And all she needed was a little bit of a break. Splitting those legs for a little bit of balance at the top. But now the battle is on to get under that 30-minute time cap, but she won't have time, but she will be moving pretty quick. Emma Wright in the white center of screen is just about to finish her last set of 9 single leg squats. 12-20. Emma Wright, a 30th and a 24th yesterday. A first place finish in heat number 1 of event 3. Ev, very, very fast pistols.
Yeah, having no problem at all with her pistols. Now the judge there just making sure that she's standing to full extension. What they just want to see there is just ensuring that she reaches full lockout at the hips when she's standing at the top.
And Evdalicki a couple of segments short of finishing. But Emma Wright, 12:20 unofficial time in heat number 1. We had a couple more heats coming up here at Kudos Bank Arena. We'll be back with heat number 2 for the individual women. Day 2 of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games coming up soon. Heat 2 lane assignments. Lindsay Vaughan with that great gymnastics background. Look for her in the center of the arena in lane 5. Sammy Wood loves a handstand walk as well. And looking to climb up the leaderboard, she needs a big day 2 if she's going to go back as an individual competitor at the Reebok CrossFit Games in Madison, Wisconsin in August of this year. Day 2, generically a moving day at the regionals. The males has been shaken up massively. Is the same thing going to happen with the females? We're about to find out.
We have Danny Zane at the arena, the robot.
It's going to be interesting, Jeremy, to watch how these ladies break up the muscle-ups. What I have mentioned in other heats is, you know, I'm sure the ladies would be able to complete these muscle-ups in much smaller sets, but what they are trying to do is just manage the fatigue. Now, the reason why they want to manage the fatigue, and as you can see, it's just the top of the dip, they're using their triceps. So they want to manage their fatigue and their shoulders because this purpose-built obstacle course is proving to be, and here we just see Sammy there, proving to be very, very challenging. Now, we know how excellent Sammy is in these gymnastics movements, but, you know, when you put the components of the muscle-ups together with the handstand walk, and then you also put a lot of nervous energy into it, what you're going to find is, you know, the athletes really have to try and concentrate. And let's have a look at that far right lane number 9.
Laken Watt.
Laken Watt. Of no surprise, she has been our first athlete to cross over both of the handstand walk obstacle course.
When Dave Castro announced via social media that something like this would be coming up, Sammy Wood got out there straight away. When you're talking about nervous energy, I think that's what got Sammy at the start. I think she just calms down a little. She knows she can do this stuff. And I think you'll find over the next couple of obstacles, Sammy will calm down a little, get that heart rate down a little bit and be a lot better. But Laken Watt, wow.
That was impressive. I mean, we saw that from Jeremy. We saw that in one of the other heats from the men, Jordan Bender. You know, had a bit of a stumble in the first couple of attempts over the handstand walk, but as the event went on, he got better and better. And don't be surprised for the athletes who are very competent in handstand walking and moving over this implement. If the first couple of goes are a little bit of a struggle, but then they start to find their rhythm and get better as they get going.
Standings for the men after 3 events. James Newbury still continuing that lead. Not too far, though, ahead of Dean Linda Layton and doing all he can to get there. Brandon Swan jumping into the top 5. Grant Porter still hanging around, but Maddie McLeod, the surprise packet, doing super well in 3rd position. Moving Day has done just that for the male competition. The females are now back to action. And as expected, Sammy Wood now battling neck and neck with Laken Watt for the obstacle course on the way back.
Yeah, I think we do have a race on our hands between Sammy Wood and Laken Watt. You know, both of them are very proficient in gymnastics. It's going to be interesting to see. You know, Laken chose to do her first go going straight over, whereas Sammy broke it up. Let's see how that plays out in the back end of this race.
Laken Watt with a 27th and 26th place after day 1. Great shot of Kudos Bank Arena. Crowd starting to fill in here, and a lot more people and a lot louder than it was yesterday.
Hey, I tell you what, Jeremy, this is an exciting heat to watch because on screen here we can see Helen Harding, Sammy Wood and Laken Watt. Now, I am looking forward to watching Helen in this particular event. I do hang out with her a bit, could you say?
A little bit? Like a lot?
She is a super mum to boot. Now, I know that she's going to do really well in this event, and I'm watching. I'm very proud to watch her, and hopefully we can see her shine in something that we know that she is really good at and proficient at, which is those gymnastics and movements.
The crowd really getting behind anyone who can get through these obstacle courses.
The crowd really are supportive here. I think, you know, everyone can generally feel for these athletes because I have no doubt that a lot of these people would have even attempted a little bit of a handstand walk over the obstacle course. And, you know, they know how hard and how difficult it actually truly is.
Oh, Anna's off and running. It took her a while to get through that first one. The second one, no issue. And Sammy Wood, now our current leader. The ramp first, the step second.
So that's interesting, Jeremy, because now what you see is Sammy has actually taken over Lakin Watt. Now, Lakin started her first round, and did she come out just that little bit too hot trying to do the whole obstacle course, like as in both obstacle A and B or 1 and 2 in the first go?
We know it's all about keeping that heart rate down, and experience on the floor counts for everything. Sammy Wood has got just that. This is Lakin's second regional.
In particular, with an event like this, you know, because it is so skill specific, it's really about having a great body awareness of how far you can push your body, because of the fatigue level that will be set in, you know, through the shoulders, and also, I guess, a little bit of nerves as well, which I'm sure is probably playing into the back of the minds of these athletes.
It seems as though Sammy Wood, to the right of screen, judge's hand in the air for the last couple of reps, has shaken off those nerves at the start of event number 3. And she's moving on to the last segment. The last segment constituting 15 reps.
You can see Sammy here, she is, I guess, adopting a technique where she is basically leaning half of her body all over on one side of the leg. Now, technically what we'd love to see here is someone who is able to keep a little bit more upright, but, you know, she is a lot longer limbed, and in this case, you know, you just have to adopt whichever technique is going to work best for you.
Heat 2 leader, Sammy Wood, lots of regional, lots of games experience, and looking to get back to the Reebok CrossFit Games. Taking her time moving back, and second place Lakin Watt, top of screen, now moving back. At the moment, level pegging with these two ladies. But Sammy will be kicking up. And this is going to round off the second round of the muscle up handstand obstacle, handstand walk obstacle course, and the single leg squats.
We do have a race on our hands, don't we? Now, I think because these ladies are both so proficient with this particular movement, they are able to push the boundaries just that tiny little bit more than someone who perhaps isn't as proficient, where my suggestion to those would be to not rush, you know, kicking up into that handstand walk. You have to be very mindful and very thoughtful about how much rest you need, and making sure every single rep over the obstacle course counts.
Crowd absolutely loving it. And Sammy Drescher getting the obstacles done in the white on center screen.
I just love how she smiled there. I love it. She just smiled and, you know, hey, I gave it a go.
Take it in your stride.
Exactly.
Our event record for this event, 8 minutes, 32 seconds from Marissa De Los Santos from the South Regional in week number 1. That has been and gone. So Marissa moving very quick on that, and only 40 women out of 197 after the first 2 weeks have finished this event, proving very difficult for some.
And Sammy just taking a short break there. Now that would be very calculated. Like I said before, we're just trying to monitor the fatigue level in the shoulders. This is a very skill-specific event.
3 tests over the last day and a half. We've had some endurance, some strength endurance, and now some gymnastics. Very well-balanced programming for the first start of the regional event.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jeremy? Because, you know, this is how I feel about this particular regionals. It is, you know, it is very closely related to what we would see at the games, but there is something for everybody along this whole weekend.
The battle for first is on. Helen Harding just having to forward roll out of that handstand, but Lakin and Sammy are neck and neck going into the last obstacle, and then the last 54 single leg squats.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Now, Lakin just kicked up a little bit earlier. Now, she wants to make sure, okay, Lakin probably had a little bit more of a second to wait before Sammy did. Sammy's staying straight and upright. Now, the reason why I say that is because anthropometrically, Sammy is a little bit taller than Lakin, so Lakin's cycle speed on the pistol squats is going to be a little bit faster. So, kind of bearing that in mind, and you know what, it's easier from the outside to, from an outside perspective looking in, to see this come out to play. But these are just things to think about.
Now, the race is on. Sammy Wood with a slight lead over Lakin Watt at the top of screen.
And this is what I was talking about, the cycle speed of Lakin Watt. So now, just a little bit of experience there in knowing that she didn't have to rush, didn't have to go before Sammy.
Now, Sammy Wood, she's got to stay focused, stay in her own lane and not worry what Lakin is doing, because she needs to make sure she gets no reps at the back end of here.
She does, Jeremy. But with that said, Jeremy, in this component and this element of the race, now, you would want to have some awareness of what is going on around you. The reason being is because this just comes down to how much someone wants to hurt, because it's all in the legs and it's all, you know, they're all feeling it deep inside their legs.
Sammy Wood, 2 no reps, crucial. She's looked over to Lakin. She's not staying in her own lane, so we're going to see what happens at the back end, but Lakin cycling has now caught her up to Sammy Wood. We've only got 90 seconds left of heat number 2. And a great battle going on. Sammy Wood, bottom of the screen with 9 reps to go.
She really needs to get a wriggle on here.
Lakin now with time.
Lead. Can Sammy make it? Come on, Sammy.
I think she can.
Hold on.
She's got a 2-rep lead. She does. Sammy Wood. And absolutely pumped. And what an exceptional performance from Lakin Watt.
Oh, that was impressive from both the girls. Both of them very dynamic.
Gotta love a tight race. And now, don't discount Helen Harding, who's sitting in 3rd position, just in front of Lindsay Vaughan. Helen will get done under time cap. Lindsay Vaughan looks as though she will get under that time cap as well. Remembering 2 more heats after this one coming up.
Helen just keeping a really consistent pace on those pistols. You know, being called a no rep there may have been just not standing quite to full extension before dropping back down into the
And Helen Harding, the 3rd athlete in heat number 2 to get over the line to finish. Exhausting 3 tests already for these ladies. Sammy Wood, congratulations. She wants to move back up the leaderboard, and that is the best way to do it, with a Heat 2 win. Heat 3 coming up of the female individual competition at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Pacific Regional. We'll be back here in just a few moments. Lane assignments for Heat number 3. I'm going to try and keep my eye on Yuko Sakayuma, one of our smaller athletes. And she is out of Hong Kong, Reebok CrossFit Ashfordel. And she has got that great spatial awareness, so keep your eye on her. She's in lane number 2 with the green shirt just to the left of screen.
Now, the keys to success in this particular event is what we have seen in a lot of the other heats, that it is all about the handstand walk. Now, if you're an athlete that is proficient in the handstand walk, you can push the boundaries of that. But if you aren't, then my suggestion would be to not be afraid to rest before going into the obstacle course and not really get caught up in the moment of what's going on around you.
Today, we are very, very fortunate today to have one of the gymnastics specialists from the Pacific Regional. And she's fairly decent at handstand walking as well. It is Alethea Boone. Alethea, welcome.
Hi, Rookie. Thanks for having me.
Now, you've been a very busy girl.
A wee bit, yeah, just a tad bit.
So coming back off the Achilles injury,
Yep.
you had a choice of what to do, compete in the Open or compete in the Commonwealth Games for New Zealand in weightlifting. We obviously know what the choice was.
Yeah, I actually opted to compete in Commonwealth Games. I would have loved to have done both, but unfortunately, I popped my post-tib tendon in the other leg in November. So I spent November and December in a boot, and I just managed to get back in time for Commonwealth Games, but I'm absolutely gutted I missed out on the Open.
Yeah. Plans for next year? You're going to come back? Are we going to rest a little bit? What are you going to do?
I'm resting for a couple, well, maybe about a month more, and then I'd love to be able to get down on the floor, especially when there's events like these. Handstand walking, muscle ups, pistols, my jam.
You would have been licking your lips when you saw this event, hey?
100%. Full frothing over it. Definitely my event, I reckon.
So can you talk us a little bit through, some of the tips that you would probably suggest in trying to get over this handstand walk obstacle course?
I think for a lot of people, don't be too ambitious to try and take one arm each step. I definitely think that finding your balance first, putting one hand up on the step and then the other hand to meet the other hand to be able to keep your balance throughout the entire thing. I actually compared this to mounting a 4-inch beam. You have to be so accurate under fatigue, and yeah, it's a very similar mindset for gymnastics.
It is very tough, isn't it? And what we've seen is this obstacle course has actually been purpose-built for this event. So we're very, very lucky, or unlucky.
All I can think of is I remember teaching 3-year-olds how to forward roll down the mats, and now we've got adults walking up and down of it. It's absolutely crazy.
Now, head back a couple of months to the Commonwealth Games. You're in pretty good company on the platform. I was fortunate enough to watch you power jerk your way through 100 kilos, which is pretty impressive.
Yep. Split jerk, unfortunately, is out of the question. It's probably out of the question for life now. So luckily I've got some big arms. I can actually just push it up.
And how was the experience competing for New Zealand, your country, at a different sport, what you're normally used to?
You get such pride in wearing the silver fern. I think everyone thinks of New Zealand and the All Blacks rugby team. We get the same amount of pride being able to wear that silver fern, and it was an absolute honour to be able to represent my country again.
Now, big question on everybody's lips this weekend. You know what's coming. Who's going to take the crown this weekend?
Oh, it's always hard to call it out because you like every competitor out there, but I'm going to have to give it to my girl, Tia. She's been working really hard, and I think the combo of her and James working together as training partners has definitely put her in great stead.
So with 200 points coming into day 2, not sort of where we're used to seeing Tia at. We're not used to seeing Cara in that second position. Cara's so dominant down here over the last couple of years.
Yep.
Advice, either of them going forward?
I think I would not count Cara out. Cara 100% is a fighter, and she knows how to perform when it's crunch time. So these events today, handstand walking might not be so proficient, but the next event, definitely watch out for her.
I think that's a fair enough comment. We do know that she is a bit of a fighter, and the events that play on the back half of the regionals weekend are a bit more CrossFit related, if you will. So I think that's going to play to her strengths.
Yeah, I have to agree with that for sure.
However, can you tell us, me personally, I look at Tia's aura when she's out there on the field. She just has a presence around her.
Very focused. She's here to do her job. This is her job. This is what she wants to do. She loves it with a passion, and it comes through in her performance.
She did mention that we had a chat to her on Thursday when she registered, and she said she wasn't focused on winning this whole regional. Shane, I spoke to him yesterday, and he said, no, we're just focusing one event at a time. Like, we're just going to do our best, blah, 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 and that sort of stuff. But 200 points from 2 events already, that's not going to plan if just doing what you have to do to get to Madison.
Come on, let's be real. We're all competitors. We all like to win. Even if it's not verbalised, you're out there to compete. Compete means doing your best.
So I'm going to say one thing, but we're going to do a different thing altogether.
Pretty much. I think it's more of a mindset thing. If you can stay calm, you're going to go out there and execute every plan the way you want it to go.
And do you think it's about just holding off that anxiety and not putting that pressure on yourself when you say things like that? Oh, I'm just going to, you know, I don't care about the placings. It's more about, you know, just taking that pressure off of your shoulders.
Definitely taking the pressure off, going one step at a time, and making sure that every effort you put in is your 100% effort.
Now, one thing we are going to miss around the stadium is the booming voice of Kobe Head, one of our floor announcers.
Yeah.
With the big boon.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I kind of miss it too, but I've noticed that once I walk around the crowd, I've got quite a few people actually just still yelling it out. So thank you, warms my heart. Hopefully we'll hear it again soon.
Now, with the top 2 placings, we think the Karatea obviously are going to go back to Madison. Those
Yes.
other 3 spots, have you got anyone in mind? Dark horse, repeat games competitors, anyone that sticks out to you that could possibly get there over the next 3 events?
You know, Maddie Sturt, she always finishes so low on the first day, and I think she's going to definitely come back and make that top 5. Kat Baker sitting in 3rd was definitely going to happen. She's an endurance athlete, so she does so great. Steph Ortiz, 100%, she's really good at being able to get up there. Jess Coughlin, I want her to get back for sure. Yeah, but the gymnastics elements of today, I think Harriet Roberts, for example, she's going to shift up the leaderboard too. Don't count her out.
Moving day generically on day 2 of competition, we've seen the men's shake up massively. Are we going to see any surprises in heat number 4?
Heat number 4 for the men.
No, for the women.
For the women.
Coming up next.
Honestly, it's who can execute under fatigue. Accuracy under fatigue is such a big thing. Whoever can hit it, they're definitely going to make it through. But we can't get past Courtney Haley. And I have to admit, she's one of my favourites.
She sort of like slips under the radar all the time, but just out of that top 5. She's been in the games in 2015 with CrossFit Rocks,
Yeah.
part of the team competition. She'd obviously love to like tick that box and go, hey, boom. But yeah, the elite gymnastics background is really going to assist in this.
Definitely. She's a no-frills athlete, just gets her head down and just works. And she's going to crush this event.
That's awesome. Lethia, thank you very much for joining us in commentary. We look forward to seeing heat number 4 come up and seeing how the cards fall. Day 2 moving day at Pacific Regional, but all the best with your comeback for next year, and we look forward to hearing some boons around the arena in 2019.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, guys.
Go.
8 minutes down, about 30 minutes capped event. This is heat 3. Yuko Sakiyuma with the fastest pistols in the West. Yuko just breaking up that obstacle course, but making so much time on those pistol squats. Yuko resting very strategically. And having no trouble on the way back. And she'll get back to the muscle ups and keep breaking them up as she has broken them up over the last 2 sets. Stephanie Ortiz, center of screen, has been so close for so long. Is this going to be her year to climb up the leaderboard? And there's that very strict handstand movement we've seen from a couple of athletes. Harry Roberts from CrossFit Athletic. Her team are doing very well on team side of competition. And just having a quick shakeout before she moves on to that last obstacle and makes her way down for the last set of pistol squats.
She does actually look very comfortable upside down, Harry Roberts here, just in the blue pants, grey top, even though she did cartwheel out of it, which could be costly at this stage. However, you know, you can see just on her face there, just a bit disappointed with getting so close to the finish line, and hands almost coming over before getting called back for a no rep.
being in later heats, fortunate enough to see some scores to beat, and where the placings will sit. Although with one heat left remaining of the female competition for event number 3, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the results. But Harriet Roberts making her way now to the 54 pistol squats. There's going to be 9 single leg squats in each segment on the floor. She makes her way down to that finish mat.
It was great composure there by Harriet to be able to collect herself and then make her way over the obstacle course. Now she works her way through the single leg squats. You'll see that, you know, she's pretty much putting all of that weight on one side of her leg.
Harriet, just a no rep. Remembering you've got to redo the single leg squat on the same side that you were no repped.
Yes, just getting called a no rep there. Feet might have touched the ground. As you can see, you know, it's very close to the ground as she stands to that extension. The foot has to remain off the ground until her hips are locked out at the top.
Great battle going on now for two girls who have not gone to the CrossFit Games as an individual and have been so close for many years. Stephanie Ortiz left of screen, Harriet Roberts at the top. We've only got 40 seconds left. Harriet to the right of screen with 9 reps remaining. And Steph Ortiz thinks she's finished, but she's got 9 to go. That's going to be crucial. Focused on the end game. But a great result from Harriet Roberts. She's going to move up that leaderboard, as is Stephanie Ortiz. Harriet out of CrossFit Athletic here, the Northern Beaches of Sydney, and Stephanie Ortiz from CrossFit Adelaide. And both agree that was pretty tough.
12:40 her time. Steph Ortiz just behind her. Those were the only 2 women finishing that.
3 heats down, 1 heat remaining. We'll be back here with more live action of the female competition with the big heats. Heat number 4, Kudos Bank Arena at Sydney Olympic Park. G'day everybody, we are at Kudos Bank Arena at Sydney Olympic Park. Day 2 action of the female competition. 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Pacific Regional. My name's Jeremy Austin. Alongside me is Danae Brown and Lily Cosgrove. Standings after 2 events. Tia Claire Toomey, the fittest woman on earth, 200 points. Closely followed by the second fittest woman on earth, Cara Saunders at 170. Few new names in that top 5. But day 2 is going to shake up this leaderboard. And this one will be no different. Event number 3.
It is 3 rounds of 9 muscle-ups, followed by a handstand walk over a purpose-built obstacle course. The ladies will then work each round an ascending ladder, moving through 36, 45, and 54 one-legged pistol squats. In each round, they'll have to make sure that they come back, working their way over that obstacle course. Now, the keys to success in this particular event is it is all about the handstand walk. Are you proficient in this movement? Not only do you need to be proficient in this movement, you need to be able to tackle that obstacle course. Now, I think it's really important that, you know, the athletes don't get caught up in the commotion and what's going on around them, and they stick to their own lanes and their own races. If you're someone like Courtney Haley, we see on screen in the blue shirt, who is very proficient upside down on her hands, and she looks extremely comfortable. So she'll be able to push the boundaries a little bit more than perhaps some of the other athletes.
Well, it's actually really surprised just then to see Courtney Haley break up that handstand walk. We know she can walk on her hands very proficiently, but maybe that's a strategy going in.
I'd definitely say that was a strategy, Jeremy, coming into this event. Now, it isn't really about how you start this event, but how you finish it. So it's about athletes being able to manage their shoulder fatigue level through this event.
battle we've been waiting for since the Reebok CrossFit Games last year. Tia-Clair Toomey on the left, Cara Saunders on the right. This battle will continue all weekend. Let's head down to Lily Cosgrove on the floor.
Jeremy, I had a little chat to Courtney Haley's coach back in the warm-up area, and as you guys mentioned, she's an incredible gymnast in her former athletic life. So he told me that she planned to go unbroken on the first obstacle, but we noticed she actually broke it. So that might have been something she had to adapt on the floor. Maybe she wasn't feeling as good as she felt, she thought she might be on her hands. And then on the way back, she was definitely going to break. And we'll watch her now to see if she does break. And the reason for that was to save her shoulders for the muscle ups.
That's really interesting, Lily, isn't it? You know, I love that she is the type of athlete that has been able to adapt on the fly and, you know, really monitor what's going on with her body.
Yeah, she's also managing coming off shoulder surgery just in November, so that's another factor that might be playing into having that extra rest.
Exactly, very smart move, very smart move.
Courtney Haley is on the ring already
1v2, Toomey, Saunders, both getting to the second set of the muscle-ups at the same time, but Tia getting about a second ahead of Saunders. We saw a great battle in the last event at the Reebok CrossFit Games in Madison last year. Is Tia-Clair Toomey going to take the title of the Pacific Queen for 2018? We are 4 events away from finding out.
Now, Jeremy, it looks like both the girls have exactly the same amount of reps to complete. I wonder if both of them are playing off of each other. You know, perhaps they have their own rep scheme set in their mind, but, you know, Tia knew how many reps Cara's done, and I'm sure Cara knew how many reps Tia's done. Here we see Tia just doing a few more reps now, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Looks as though Tia broke that up 4-4-1, and Cara's gone 5-4.
I don't think she would have meant to do that. I think that was just, it was an extra rep.
If that's going to save you some shoulder fatigue for this handstand obstacle walk, Cara just kicking up a little early and having to come back down, but both girls waiting. It seemed like an eternity to kick up. And Cara now struggling with that left shoulder.
Interesting, isn't it, Jeremy? You know, I really hope that neither of them get caught up in the moment and the environment. And, you know, perhaps they did too big a set on the muscle-ups for them to get over this handstand walk. Who knows?
Now, I'll tell you what, the 2 fittest women on earth are sitting in front of us and having a little bit of trouble getting over this next obstacle. But it's all a matter of resting those shoulders. That great shot, neck and neck, both girls.
Jeremy,
wouldn't want it any closer, would you?
Wouldn't you? Jeremy, I'm going to go so far to say that I am pretty confident both girls would have had one eye on each other. You know, knowing that one of them made it, there would have been in the back of their mind going, I am not letting this go, I am making it.
Now Tia-Clair Toomey getting the jump on the second obstacle and onto the second set of single leg squats. 15 required in each segment. You can see Cara to the back right of screen, just coming over the top of the obstacle. And she'll have that done. And we know how good Cara's pistols are.
Oh, absolutely. She seemed to stay pretty composed there. And I think the reason why she stayed composed is that she probably knew she could catch Tia on the single leg squats. She's anthropometrically, she's just got that shorter range of motion. We know she is super strong in her legs. And she has, you know, great mechanics and great flexibility, enabling her to move just that little bit faster or cycle that little bit faster than Tia.
Seven pistol lead for Tia-Clair Toomey over the second fittest woman on earth, Cara Saunders.
So what you can see here, Jeremy, is the girls in this heat, you know, their range of motion, flexibility and strength is not a problem. None of them are having to hang on to their shoe as they go over into that pistol leg squat. It's almost keeping that torso body quite upright.
Our event record for this one is Marissa De Los Santos from the South Regional in week 1. These girls are only 25 seconds behind that split time. Now rest all important, heading back over the obstacles for the last set of muscle-ups. Has Tia rested enough? It seems as though she has. Cara having to kick down.
You do really need to know your body well, and I'm pretty sure, you know that you've got someone breathing down the back of your neck, and also Cara knowing that she wants to catch Tia as well. With that said, Cara's probably also keeping in the back of her mind that she's got her own game plan and strategy that she needs to play with to ensure that she's able to get through this event.
Are we going to see the fittest woman on earth go 3 from 3 and go 300 points after 3 events?
Jeremy, where's Courtney Haley in the race of this event? What round is she on?
She has fallen way behind.
I think actually Courtney's onto her last round here.
Apologies to Courtney Haley. She is our current leader.
So here we are, just looking at our leader here, Courtney Haley. Now she is actually grabbing onto her foot. That would be just being able to maintain that balance with the pistol squat. The event really has come down to who is more confident and competent in that obstacle handstand walk.
That event record has been and passed now. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a shake-up on this leaderboard, because one girl we expected to do pretty well on this, Jess Coughlin, is struggling just a little bit with the back end obstacles on to round number 2.
Look at this, Jeremy. Cara's actually just managed to scrape. Oh! That is costly. So Cara's actually just been called a no rep because her hands went outside the line. That would have been a lovely little lead mentally for her.
Courtney Haley, the elite gymnast, showing her elite gymnast skills, and will be moving on up this leaderboard. 7th after 2 events, she's going to be going into the top 5. The strategy has worked, and she is up and over 9:31 unofficially. Great job from Courtney Haley.
Now here we are with Tia Claire Toomey. Now Tia's just managed to get over that second part of the obstacle course, and she's onto her pistols. So she straight away finished that obstacle course, ran straight down to her set of pistols because she knew she wanted to get ahead before Cara came behind her.
Today, moving day on day 2 at the Pacific Regional. The girl to the back left in the black and green, Kat Baker, sitting in the top 5 overnight, is in danger of dropping massively because she's still on the second round, as Tia Claire Toomey has only got roughly 24 single leg squats to go, now 18 to go.
And it is no surprise Tia is going to be wanting to move as fast as she possibly can with these single leg squats.
Tia Claire Toomey, the fittest woman on earth, with 200 points coming into event number 3, is going to maintain that position at the top of the leaderboard. And there is going to be a shake-up, as we may have a new Pacific Regional Queen down here in Sydney, Australia. Someone not focused on winning the regional, she's doing a great job.
It is interesting, isn't it, Jeremy? But I think, you know, when we just had Alethea here in the commentary box, like she said, she's a competitor. You always go out there to win.
Speaking of competitors, we've got another one here, and big smiles for Cara Saunders. She'll finish up. And another one of those athletes that Alethea did mention, Maddie Sturt. You can see her in the all black. She is just about to finish off. This is going to be a great result for Maddie Sturt as well for her 3rd return trip as Tia signs some quick autographs while she's waiting. Actually, quite a few of them. She wouldn't get that much, would she? Justine Beath, Madeline Sturts. It is going to be Maddie Sturts. And great result for both of these girls. Justine in her comeback after having 12 months off. And she's doing all she can to get one of those top 5 qualifying spots. It's going to be probably the usual suspects, isn't it?
Wouldn't surprise me, Jeremy, wouldn't surprise me.
Courtney Haley really pushing for one of those qualifying spots as well, as Simone Arthur is going to get this job done in event number 3, and she's going to be the only one left on the floor, which is going to shake up Jess Cogler's position in 5th. So Simone Arthur coming in 10th place after day 1. Now Simone Arthur with 9 reps.
She really is putting the pedal to the metal here. Look at her almost bouncing out of that squat, off the leg, onto the other leg.
And a couple of reps short for Simone Arthur, but that's going to do wonders for her results on the leaderboard. And Courtney Haley, outstanding, 1 minute slower than the event record time, but still number 1 down here. And it is the 4th fastest time worldwide. So Courtney Haley, hats off to you. But the leaderboard is going to shake up as the crowd fills in here at Kudos Bank Arena. Great battle going on in the center of the floor early on, D. And it was Cara in the lead early, but that lead changed probably 4 or 5 times.
Oh, it sure did. But hey, kudos to this woman right here. Courtney Haley was so dominant from the start to finish, just showing us how proficient she is in that handstand walk. Now, it was a neck-and-neck race, and I'm going to personally say a battle between the minds of both Tia and Cara. We just saw how proficient Courtney Haley was, upside down on her hands. Look at her nice, tight body, a lot of strength there, and keeping herself really composed and relaxed, you know, moving over each implement in that event.
You know what, Dee, I think it was the fact that she was relaxed and ran her own race the entire time, and just stayed in her zone, didn't worry about whatever else was happening. But what a great battle we've got going down here at the Pacific. Jumbles on the leaderboard are plenty. You wouldn't think that the fittest women on earth would be struggling with some of these movements. Cara Saunders to the right, taking back the lead late, but then moving outside that lane and getting a crucial no rep, so she had to go right back to the start. But so good from Courtney Haley over that line in pretty much 9:32-ish. There we are, 9:33, Courtney Haley, a little way back. Tia, Cara, Maddie, Justine, and Sammy Wood. What a great result for Sammy. That's going to propel her up. Stephanie Ortiz and Harriet Roberts doing well, rounding out the 9th and 10th. And our Heat 4 winner and our winner overall for event number 3 is standing by with Lily Cosgrove.
Courtney Haley, an exceptional effort, taking 100 points in event number 3. You mentioned you actually did that faster on the floor here than you did in testing, but watching you were really strategic in breaking up the muscle-ups, breaking up the handstand walk. We know you're excellent at those movements, so why did that strategy work for you?
Well, when I tested it, I was a little bit more aggressive with the sets of muscle-ups and noticed that first go up the stairs on the handstand walk was really, straight after the muscle-ups, the hardest part of the event. So the plan was to break those muscle-ups a little bit, get a little bit of rest there and have the confidence to go straight up the stairs whenever I got there.
Fantastic. We know you have a gymnastics background, so what were your thoughts when you heard this event announced?
Yeah, absolutely loved it. I had a lot of people messaging me saying, oh my gosh, they designed a regional event for you. So I was definitely very excited to see that in the mix, but also just really glad to be that confident with these movements just after shoulder surgery last year.
7th last year, 7th the year before at regionals. Are we going to see you in the top 5 this weekend?
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations. Go have some rest.
Thank you.
You've heard it here first. She wants one of those top 5 qualifying spots at the back end of tomorrow. Event 3 down for the women. Event 4 on the way as a crowd. There's a little bit of a rest, recovery after watching an epic battle and some classic spills as well. We got more action coming from Kudos Bank Arena at Sydney Olympic Park coming up in just a little while.